Raspberries Echoes. I'm Rhonda, this is Drew, and hopefully this time around we will not have a bunch of stops and starts. We've had some major issues with our internet and my phone, and we've had the technician out here twice now. The first time he came, he didn't come in like he had told us he would, and he just left and left us a message and said that everything was fine and working, and he had found a couple spots up by Delta here, which is just a small little town real close to us, and he said there'd been some mice chewing on the wires along with some other issues causing problems, and he said everything should be up and working and just fine. And this had been going on for months, probably over a year. A couple years, really. I mean, we've had issues off and on for a long time, and it finally just quit, and we finally just got frustrated and called, and they sent a technician out. Well, about 4 days later, we went to sit down and watch TV, and it was worse than ever. So we had another technician out, I think, 2 days ago. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? Yesterday morning. And this time he said it was the box instead of the wiring. So we're gonna see. Hopefully this will help, because last time I tried to download one of these videos, it took like 3 days. It took forever. And did some work with the phone too, went to the Verizon store and talked to him, and hopefully things will work today. We're praying. And now I'm trying to think of what we were gonna talk about. Des Moines?
Capital.
Oh, that's right. It's been a couple weeks since we actually had a video put out because it took so long to finally get one to work. So it's been a while. Last weekend we decided, Drew's homeschooled here, so we've been studying the Constitution, which has been very interesting. I'd never read the Constitution from front to back, and it's a hard read, but we did it, didn't we?
You did it.
I did it. I read it. He listened. I'm not sure how much he listened. I'm not sure how much he actually retained. I'm not sure how much I retained. It's pretty difficult, but we read it. We went through the explanations, and so anyway, to go along with that, we headed to Des Moines over the weekend and picked up my 25-year-old son.
He's 25.
He's 25.
He's
Yes.
23.
No, he's 25. And he lives up there in Des Moines, and he had never visited the Capitol, and that's what we were going to do. So we went and we visited the Iowa State Capitol. And I have got to say, it is one of the most beautiful, beautiful buildings. And the history of the building, the stories that they told us. We took a tour, and we had the most wonderful tour guide. And we are one of, what'd she say, 5 state capitals that has a gold dome. And so she talked about that, and all of there's not one bit of wallpaper in the building, and it looks like everything's wallpapered. It's hand painted. Everything in there was done by hand. And they have 2 artists on staff who work every single day and come in, and they're scraping and scraping and scraping and getting clear down to the original colors, the original, just everything, and redoing everything. And it is just gorgeous, isn't it? And we were able to get up to what they call the Whispering Gallery, which is not clear to the top of the dome. They don't allow anybody up there anymore, and her reasoning for that was because people today don't make good choices. So we couldn't get clear to the top, which would have been really, really neat, but we did get to go up as far as you're allowed. And they call it the Whispering Gallery because you're up in this dome and you're just on the outskirts of it. And she walked all the way around to one side, and we stayed on the other, and it sounded like she was just talking, and it sounded like she was standing right beside you. It was just really amazing, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. What was your favorite part?
The Whispering Dome.
The Whispering Dome? The Whispering Dome was a tough one for me because I'm a little bit out of shape, and it was a lot of steps, and it was all spiral staircase, and I didn't know if I was going to make it. And everybody else in our group, there was others there too besides just us four, and everybody in that group were young except for Joe and I, and so they were hightailing it up those steps, and let me tell you, I was huffing and puffing by the time I got to the top, wasn't I? I felt it for days. My legs hurt. They just hurt by the time we got done. Well, just getting to it from the outside, you have to walk up all these steps because the Capitol sits clear at the top, the highest point of the city, and looks out over the city. And it's just gorgeous, but there's a lot of steps.
You're not even that old yet.
No, I'm not that old yet, but I am that out of shape. I have got to start exercising, getting back into shape again. But anyway, it was gorgeous. My favorite thing, I think, was the law library. The law library is absolutely beautiful. The spiral staircases to get up to the books. The librarians use the spiral staircase to get up to the books, and then back behind the books they're able to walk around and pull books. And it just, this is going to sound strange, but the smell, you walked in and you immediately smelled all the old books. Drew says must. I say the most, just that beautiful book smell. And they still had the card catalog sitting there, and the young kid, there was a couple of younger kids. They had no clue what that was, which is so sad. They had never seen a card catalog before. I don't know if you'd seen a card catalog before. No, I'm sure that's not a card catalog. I don't know what that would be.
Well, it looks like one.
But anyway, that was our fun for the week, for the last couple weeks, was we went on a tour of the state capitol. And then after that, we met some friends. There was a camping show going on at the Iowa State Fairgrounds, and it's every year. And they live clear up in Clear Lake. We're down here, down southern Iowa, and so we try every year to get together because we do camp in the summer with them. And we went to the camping show, walked around, looked at all the new campers. We didn't buy, obviously. I mean, we're not going to buy. It's just fun to see the new ones. Ours is a little older, but that's okay. I love it. I don't want to get a new one anyway.
No, we should restore the...
And then we went out for supper at the Iowa Machine Shed, which is always really, really yummy. And then we came home. So that was fun, wasn't it? I think Eric had a good time. He enjoyed the Capitol, and he was a little bored when we were at the camping show, but that's okay. We had fun. Okay, let's see, where are we at now? Last time I talked about canning, because I do love to can, and I do more and more every year, it seems like. But I had talked about my cranberry juice that I canned, and somebody asked me if I had a recipe for it. So I wrote it down real quick, and here's my jar of cranberry juice. Doesn't it just look delicious? And it's such a pretty color. And you can it, and then you have to wait at least 6 weeks. That's the hardest part. You have to wait a while before you can drink it. It's kind of like doing grape juice when you're using cranberries.
Is there any up here, or is it all downstairs?
It's all downstairs except for these jars that aren't quite ready yet. You just strain it because the cranberries are still in there, obviously, and so you just strain it. And then I like to use the cranberries to make cranberry muffins. And I'm sure there's other things I could make. I just always make cranberry muffins, or if I don't have time, my chickens love the cranberries. They think they're a treat to get those cranberries. But anyway, it's 1.5 cups of your cranberries, 1/3 cup of sugar, and you fill your quart jar with boiling water to a 1-inch headspace. Water bath for 20 minutes. It's real simple, very simple. This last batch, I made half of them with the sugar, and I made half without the sugar because I had read where you can make it without the sugar and then you can sweeten it. I might even just like it without sugar because I know cranberries are tart, but I do love just cranberries and plain cranberry juice. So I'm hoping I can drink it without the sugar, but if not, I can put sweetener in it because a lot of ladies that I was on my canning site that I follow, that's what they do. They make it without the sugar and then they add sweetener later. So that's how I make my cranberry juice. And usually what happens is it's just like the bag of cranberries that you can get usually around Thanksgiving, between Thanksgiving and Christmas. I just I clean them first, and then I put half a bag in a jar and add my sugar and my water. So I don't really measure, I guess, the 1.5 cups of berries, but so I can usually get two quart jars out of a bag of cranberries. And if you wait till those cranberries go on sale, which they generally do, you can make a lot of cranberry juice, and it's not going to cost you very much, and it is delicious. So on to that, whatever you're showing her, off of that now and on to what I've been doing. Last time I did a lot of crafting and not so much stitching. This time I've done a little more stitching. And one thing I did make, and I want to make some more, is I made a needle book or a needle case, and I just used what I had here. I just dug in on my stash of stuff, and I ended up with this little needle case that I made. And I also, a friend of mine was cleaning out some stuff. She's sick and not doing so well, and so she started cleaning things out, and she had a whole bunch of DMC threads that she sent to me by surprise. And so I used those. Some of the threads are not necessarily colors I would normally use, but I used all of those DMC threads, or not all of them, but I used a lot of them. And I dug into my button tin, my Aunt Connie's button tin, and found a button to use. So I just tried to use some special things. This is an old butterfly pin, and I'm not sure where it came from. I don't think it has any sentimental value, but I used that, and just some old lace. This, I went through a phase where I thought I was going to make a yo-yo quilt, and I've got all these yo-yos, but I never made enough yo-yos to actually make a quilt. So I thought, I'd throw one of those yo-yos on there. Need to start using those for something. And then on the inside, this is just some wool felt and some fabric, and I've got some counting pins. I think the middle one I made, the two bottom ones I did not. Then my scissors, got my little scissors in there. This was a pattern I followed, an Ann Wood pattern. I don't know if you've ever, she has a blog, and she does all kinds of things like this, just I made some little dolls that were from her. And what else have I done? Dollhouse bed. We've got a dollhouse that we're trying to refinish. We need to get back to that. I have one and Drew has one. So I made a dollhouse out of clothespins, and followed her instructions. She's got a really fun, or a dollhouse, a doll bed out of clothespins. She has a lot of fun little tutorials to follow. So this one, I've got this page, and it's again some more felt with needles. These buttons again came from my Aunt Connie's button box. This is just a little patch that I had, an old patch. Remember back in the day when I was young, and we'd put these types of things on our blue jeans. And then this, there's some old buttons. I hung some old buttons. I don't think those buttons are anything special. Those are just old buttons from one of my button jars I got in an antique store. And this says inspire, this little charm. I'm not sure where it came from. I think it came from my scrapbooking days. That's actually an empty page. This is for straight pins, and of course you have to put a little bit of cross stitch in there, right? So this is just a little piece of linen that I just stuck some little crosses, little X's on, and stuck on there. And another piece of embroidery using threads, and some old lace, and there's my needle book. And I did enjoy making this. I do want to make some more, but I'm not going to put all those pages in. I think I'm just going to do just the front and the back, and then a piece of wool felt, for the pins and the needles in the middle and be done. This took me forever. I did every single thing by hand, sewed everything together by hand, and it was fun. I had a lot of fun with it, but I don't know how practical it is. I just want to make a few now that are just simple. Put some little fun things on the front and maybe the inside cover and the back, and then just have a place for my needles and my pins. So that was fun, but that was the only crafty thing that I did that wasn't cross stitch related. But I did do quite a bit of cross stitching here the last week or two. So last time I shared my bunny delight that I made, that I designed and stitched, and I just wanted to show one way that you can take a pattern and do something different with it. So last year I was at my daughter's for Easter, and she had this little pillow that I had stitched for my grandson, and I had forgotten all about it. And she's like, Mom, you need to make one for Bea too. So I took my little bunny and just stitched the bunny. This is my Bea bunny, I call it. Her name's Bea. And so this is Bea bunny. And I added a little bunny charm just right there. And that bunny charm came from Amazon. They had a package of silver. They were all, I don't even know that they were all silver. I think they were a variety of metals. And this was the one I thought was just the cutest and fit on here. And she was stitched again on just that linen that I like to use, that I kept thinking was, I thought it was 32 count. But Doreen with Privies and Prims, I sent her a piece of the linen so she could try it out, and she had she has the calculator. I need to get one of those that will you can actually figure out what count your linen is. And she said it looks more like it's a 36 count than a 32 count. So I'm going to start saying now that it's 36 count versus 32 count. And so I did it on that. And this one has never been dyed. I did not dye this because my daughter's not into the prim. She doesn't like the prim look as well. So the bunnies, this linen was dyed after I stitched, but it's the exact same linen. And this is the linen when it's not dyed. And it's the exact same DMCs too, DMC colors. So the bunny looks, the colors look different too. And then this is, this is Purple Paper Mountain trim that I added. I thought it was really cute, and you could definitely take the little boy bunny and do the same thing if you wanted. But Braxton already has his pillow, so
I'll take that one.
you think you want one? We'll see. Maybe we'll get Drew one. So there's that one. And then I did one more of the word. I've got more to do. I've had so many. Thank you so much for all the recommendations of words. I've gotten so many comments and people that have really enjoyed these little word pillows. This one I actually added crows. This is the only one I've added any little extra to. The rest of them are all just the words and then some kind of a little border either along the bottom or little corner designs or something. But I love crows. I love black crows, so I did an old crow pillow, and this is in the Etsy shop. And again, I added, because of all of the beadwork we've been doing, I've collected a whole bunch of charms, and this has got a feather and a crow charm. And I took some black paint and watered it down and then wiped it onto those charms to make them look a little less shiny and maybe a little more prim. I don't know. And again, this is the same linen, that Nate Berkus upholstery fabric that I get from Joann's. And this was dyed after stitching, I'm pretty sure. And I haven't been trimming these. You could definitely trim them if you wanted to, and they'd still look nice and prim and pretty. So that was the only word. I've got a few more that I'm getting ready to start because I've been given so many suggestions. People have been asking. So I'm going to keep working on those because those are fun and they're very quick little stitches. This one's in my Etsy shop, but I don't think I've actually posted that it's in the Etsy shop. But I thought this one turned out really cute. Joe and I were watching a movie a while back, and it took place back in the, oh gosh, I don't know if it was in the 40s, 30s, 40s. It was an old movie. It was a really good movie. It wasn't necessarily an old movie, but it was, took place a long time ago. And they were having a celebration and they were outside and they had this banner along the back of their stage, and it was just such a simple banner, and it was just red, white, and blue rectangles, and I just thought I fell in love with it, and so I sat down and stitched this, and I thought it turned out really, really nice. And it is in my Etsy shop. It's called God Bless America. And again, I used the that same linen, and I stitched it, and then I dyed it. And my frame is one of the frames that my sister-in-law made me and gifted me. It just fit perfect in there. I thought that turned out really, really, really nice little stitch. So I did that one. That one was not planned. I just, all out of the blue, decided to do that. This one I just finished. And this one's, I think I'm going to call it Pony Cart. I'm not sure. I should have brought that out, Drew. That little pony cart wooden that I picked up at the antique store in town a while back because I thought it was so cute. And then I stitched him. I stitched the cart, onto this. Again, I'm not sure, like when I did my chicken up here, I did the same with the Ric Rac. I think maybe I need to put a little dye on the Ric Rac because I think it's a little bright, but it matches the Easter eggs, and it matches the brim, or the little blue around the hat that the pony has on. I don't know if you can see it or not. I just thought he turned out cute. And again, I dyed him. What are you doing?
Well, I think that's Eli's number.
Oh, you think Eli's calling? I dyed it after I stitched it. And this was my model. I picked this up at the antique store the other day. I love these little things. I just thought he was kind of cute. He needs cleaned up. I haven't cleaned him at all. No, we're not going to paint him. That would ruin him. Huh? When I picked him up, I just thought, for some reason, I thought Easter. That, I could put some Easter eggs in there. And he's got a little hole right here, so he needs to have some reins. He needs some reins. But anyway, that was, this is him. A little different color. I made him black on my stitch, and he's not black on here. But anyway, that was that one. I had fun with that. What else did I do? This I just put in the Etsy shop, and this morning, and posted about it this morning. I was in the mood to stitch a sampler. I do that now and then. I like to stitch small things, but then once in a while I feel the need to stitch a sampler. So this one is called Grateful for This Day. It's a good reminder for me because I need, once in a while, I have to remind myself to just be grateful. Be grateful for the day. Be grateful for what I have. Be grateful and thankful. And so this one again, stitched on that same linen. I get into a rut and I use that linen all the time. And this one was stitched and then dyed. And it's done all in DMCs. And I guess I'm gonna have to say that this is 36 count, not 32 like I had been saying. I think it's kind of maybe in between, but Doreen thinks it's closer to the 36, so we're gonna say it's 36 count. And it's in blues. I love blue. I tend to gravitate towards the blue colors. And it's a very old vintage frame. I'm guessing that this frame had some kind of a wooden, probably leaves on the
You had to fix it.
on the corners, and they're gone. But again, it looks old and prim, and that's what I gravitate towards, I guess. And I have one more, and this one I just finished. I started it last night. I designed it yesterday, started it last night, and finished it this morning. And I just love it. It's called Rejoice, and it will be going into the Etsy shop soon. This one is in the Etsy shop. The old crows is in the Etsy shop, and the pony cart and Rejoice will be in there hopefully sometime today. This is a very fast, quick stitch. This is a frame that I had picked up at the thrift store a while back. There was 3 of them, and they were white. So I just quick painted this one and sanded it down a little bit. And I tried to put some brown, watered down brown paint over it, but I think my paint was old. I need to get some new brown paint, and it was real watery when I added water to it, and then it just didn't work as well as I had hoped. But anyway, that one's Rejoice. Thought that one would work really nice for Easter. It's got the sheep in the old church. And this one, I dyed the fabric before I stitched, and I did not dye it again. So this is what it looks like when you dye. You dye the fabric, that linen that I use all the time, and then stitch it, but you do not dye. You do not dye it again. Like this one was dyed after I stitched it, and you can see how the whites change, because the white in this is a lot darker, drabber, and the white in this is a lot. It's not actually white. I don't remember, 812 maybe? I don't remember what I use. It's DMC though. I almost always use DMC. Once in a while I don't, but usually it is. And I think that is it today. Oh, this trim, this Ric Rac came from, now I'm not gonna be able to remember what it was called, 1894 wool something, 1894 something. I'll have to put that down down below when we get ready to upload this. 1894, gosh darn it, something. It was the first time I had ever ordered from her, and she was fast. Let me tell you, I got my stuff so quickly, and I really was happy with everything I got. And she had 2 different sizes of Ric Rac, and I think this was the smaller Ric Rac, and she had some jumbo Ric Rac too. I think she had some pom-pom, some little pom-pom. She had some really little miniature buttons, so I ordered a thing of those just to see what they were like, and I really like them. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them yet. I should have brought all that stuff out here, and I didn't think to do it. She also has some hand-dyed threads. I didn't order any when I ordered this, when I ordered the trim, but then after I got this order, I decided to go ahead. So I did order some. I'm going to see what they're like. They look very prim to me, very drab colors, like I really like. So I'm hoping that I like them as much as I think I'm going to like them, because they look really, really pretty on her site. She has a lot of wool. She sells wool. She sells a few wool kits. She has a really neat wool wreath kit that I considered, but I decided I didn't need it. I really don't need it, so I didn't order it. And wool Christmas tree, which was really, really cool, but again, I didn't need that. And she has some other patterns too. I want to say she had some Doreen Frost patterns, but I'm not sure. I need to double check that. But anyway, that is all that I have. How about you? Huh?
Suppose you want to show them the turtle.
The what?
The turtle.
If you want to. He was working on another
it's not done
watercolor while I was talking. and then he's not happy with what he did, so he put it away. But
It's not.
it still goes along with the last story that we wrote or that we read in homeschool. Really looking forward to. I think it's looking good. Really looking forward to the new book that we just started today, and it's called The Clockmaker's Son, right? The Clockmaker's Son, and it takes place way back when, like 1800s, but it takes place in the Black Forest in Germany, and I'm really looking forward to this unit because we are German on both sides. Almost complete. I think Joe's side is all, I think they're just German, Burger and Miners. There's a little bit of, what was it, Irish? Way back in mine, but for the most part, we're German too.
Okay, like a German?
So I'm really looking forward to this because we're going to be learning a lot about Germany and a lot about German customs, and the story that we're reading is, takes place in the Black Forest in Germany. And so I did order a German cookbook. I still want to get back to the Amandas and get that one. I really want to get that one.
Let's go.
Because it does talk about that community when they came over and they settled in the Amandas, and it was a German community, and how they lived, and with the big communal kitchens, and they lived in houses together, but they each had their own rooms. And I really think that that's something that we need to look into too. But really looking forward to this unit. I think I learned just as much, if not more, than he does in this homeschool endeavor that we're on. So do you have anything else? Oh, perfect. Drew decided to get our landline running. And not only did he decide to get the landline working, but he dug out an old rotary phone. So his friends now call him on that line. And so we have this fun old landline that rings now.
It scares the crap out of me.
And it does. It makes you jump because we're not used to that sound anymore. But I kind of enjoy it. So, anyway.
What I was getting to say is that vacuum I was talking about, what was that? Flosstube.
I don't remember.
It's like, it took like 2 months to get the motor. And I waited and waited and waited. We about canceled the order. The motor finally came, but I noticed in shipping it got dented. But I still put it in the vacuum, turned it on. And of course, it's seized up now. Because the fan's hitting the metal. So we had to order another one, but I do finally have that vacuum going again.
Yes, that's something else that Drew's learning, is how to repair vacuums, how to work on little small motors and get things like that working. So I'd always heard those stories about the moms with the sons who tore all the motors apart and never put anything back together, and so nothing ever worked. I never had that with the older two boys. Neither one of them were interested in motors or anything like that, but I have it now, don't I? We don't have a vacuum tore apart on the back porch right now, which is good. We had that for quite some time. And now that the weather is finally maybe going to start getting nicer again, we can go outside and tear down our motors, right? Back patio or the shop. I think the shop's a good place for motor repair.
Frozen.
Okay, so anyway, anything else?
I'm still trying to get my parents back from that.
Oh,
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for watching. I've had some new subscribers, which is exciting. Please remember to like and ring the bell. Is that it?
Yeah.
Like and ring the bell. And watch all the way through, I guess, even if you if you get bored, which I could understand, just mute it or something and just let it go all the way through, because YouTube likes it when you watch the whole thing, I guess. This is all so new to us that we're not really sure what's going on. Drew's dancing behind me. I wish you could see it. Anyway, thank you so much for everybody that orders my patterns. It's still just It shocks me that anybody wants to stitch something that any of my little designs. But I'm having fun with it, and I really appreciate everybody that orders. I appreciate everybody that likes and comments and watches us. I hope I respond to everybody's comments. I try really hard. And I think that is it till next time. So goodbye.